Hello, I'm Susan Jane, and welcome to Amy's Business Flower Reading. Now, Amy sent me this flower a little while back, and I actually forgot all about it, didn't have time to do it, and it's just hitting Christmas now. So I thought it was a really good idea to bring this one forward when we're looking at going into the new year. So this is Amy's flower, as you can see on the screen. And this flower is it's very, very organized, this flower, which I would say her business needs to be that way in mind. So what happened with Amy? Amy came onto the podcast, so she'll be on the podcast. Oh, no, I did a talk on hers. She's going to be doing a talk on mine. So we're going to be doing that early in the new year. But I was explaining to Amy what flower readings were and how they work. So flowers are our goals in life, and they're basically our emotional goals. So when we're looking at goals in life, we often look at, say, hang on, I'll just take that one away. When we're looking at goals in life, we will look at, say, our SMART goals. We've got to do this and do that to get here, to get there. And we have these SMART goals in mind. The trouble is when we receive those or get to those SMART goals, we don't have the emotions attached to it. So often we get there and we sort of go, oh, okay, was that it? What's next? And that can be a bit challenging. So with this one, this is a particular goal. It's an emotional goal, but it's about her business. So it's either finance or how her business is going, and we can look at different elements of this particular flower. So she sent me, she was very intrigued, and so she sent me this picture. Now, you have to do a basic meditation. You need to make sure you got the feeling. And when we talk about, say, your business, it's how you feel you want your business to be running. And what does that feel like when you feel it's successful? It doesn't have to be financially successful. It's got to be emotionally successful. And if we're engaged in an emotional way, then we're going to actually create more opportunities to make it go forward. And I do have to apologise. My granddaughter painted my fingernails and they're really throwing me. So I'm not really sure what to do with that. And she hasn't done a very good job. But anyway, she's only 6, so that's okay. But anyway, let's get back to the flower. Sorry, Amy. Let's add the flower back to the stream. So this is what Amy's flowers look like. Amy's business flower looks like. Now, the first thing we do when we're doing flower readings, we look at the format that it's presented in. So we can have a landscape format, or we can have a portrait format, or in this particular case, we have a square. Now, if it is a landscape, it's more of a negative nature. The motivation behind it is more of a negative nature. Which isn't a bad thing. Just be mindful of that. It is of a negative nature, but it's a way of, we see the negatives to go forward, because a landscape image is more of a community-based image. So when we get an understanding of the community-based side to it, we often see something that's not quite right. So we see that as a negative, and then go, okay, I want to put something forward that's a positive. Now, if you've got a portrait image, you put forward a portrait flower, or image of a flower that's in a portrait, it's more of an I am. It's more about the individual, how the individual needs to feel, and it's all to do with the individual. When we go square, we're looking at both. So with this particular business, with Amy's business, it's very, very square. So it can help the community, but it's got to be just as helpful for her as a person and as an individual. So we've got to have that really good blend. When we look at something like that, we'd look at, say, a speaking type career where she's getting a lot of benefit out of it, but as she's speaking, you're speaking and you're helping a community. So we can look at it in ways like that. Now, if it was all individual, then you could be doing a speaking gig that was just basically about helping you. Whereas I would say if you're doing talks, you need to really be mindful that, yes, you're there out in the spotlight. Yes, it's all about you. However, the message that you're giving has to be very, very community focused. And again, we may look at towards the negative side of it and how we can bring that into a positive aspect. So that's sort of what the business is about. If it was more community minded, like my business one was, more, it was, if it was landscape and more community minded, then there'll be areas that you would look at in a business where it would be more, say, online courses where you're helping the community, but you aren't in front of that. Yes, you do the videos, yes, you do all that side of it, but it's not about you being up there in front. And the reason why we say that too is because of the size of the flower. Now, the size of the flower compared to the actual image of the flower. So the flower itself is the subject. The picture itself is the image. So when we look at the image, the size of the image, and then the size of the flower that goes with it, this flower is just touching right on the ends. It means that you are out there. You're not in everyone's face, because it's not a real close-up where you can't see anything else, but there's not much more room to move, which means that you do need to be out there. You need to be in front of people. You need to be, this business, I should say, needs to be out there. It needs to be in front of the right people at the right time. Now, when we're looking at the size of this image, as a business, I would be going, you need to get onto whatever platforms you're using, if it's podcasting, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram, whatever ones you're using, you need to be out there and regularly out there because of the size of that flower. It's not about you being passive and just letting things trickle through. You need to be really, really active in this and putting it out there. Now, that doesn't always happen. I mean, to me, that sort of sounds a little bit logical. That's what you're supposed to do in a business, but it doesn't always work that way. There's a lot of people that will run a business in a different manner, and I'm for one that I prefer to be in the background. Yes, I do the podcast. Yes, I do talks. Yes, I do that side of things, but I only do that for the reason being to help others. So I have a different concept of it, and neither is right nor wrong. It's just our different concept on it and how we look at it. So if your business isn't resonating well with you, Amy, then you need to look at something that's a little bit different, or step into a line of it that resonates more with you, because you need to be out there. You need to be in front and front and center. Look at the picture. It is front and center. There's nothing in the background. There's no fancy stuff. There's nothing. It's a dark background. It just means that the background is irrelevant. It's what's happening here and now that is really, really important to you. Now, the other areas that we look at too, so we looked at the format. So it is very balanced in the format. So it needs to be able to be suitable for you as well, resonate with you as well as resonate with the community. It is the flower itself, the image, the subject itself is very, very large and in front and there. It's very obvious. It's also very simplistic. Like a daisy is a lovely, simple flower. It's if somebody sort of says draw a flower, that your basic daisy is what you were looking at. You would go into that, the simplicity of a daisy, which, funnily enough, when I did my very, very first flower reading, it was a daisy, but it wasn't. It was the dark center with the gold inside it. So very similar to this. It was the real purpley one. So similar to this. Okay, so the next step we look at is we can look at the path or the journey that you're going on, or this business is going on, or you need to take to get to there. And that's the stem. And obviously with this picture, we can't see a stem, which means that you're already there. You're already in the space that you need to be to create this successful business. You're already there. And when I say successful, I do mean successful emotionally, and it makes you feel good. It's not necessarily successful financially. So this is all about heart-centered areas. So we're going into that. You don't need to worry about the stem. Guides are our leaves. The leaves are the guides. There is no guides here. You don't need them. They're not relevant for what you're doing. You're listening to your heart anyway. You're listening to your intuition. So you're going forward like that. So the next step we can look at is, especially with a business, is the petals. Now, the petals are attraction. So that's what we're looking at when we look at the petals, how we are attracting, which is like marketing. So how are we doing our marketing? Now, in this image, and I keep looking at the bigger image, but in the image, we can see there's a couple of layers, but there's not a lot. You think of the rose, how many layers of flowers there are in a rose. There's 2 layers, maybe 3 layers in this image. So there's a couple of layers of marketing that you need to look at. And when we look at the marketing, we start to look at the petals, obviously, the colors, the shape, how many there is. We looked at the layers, what they're doing. So when we go into this one, we're looking at how you're going to do your marketing. Now, your marketing needs to be done, again, on a couple of different levels, which means you could look at Google Ads. You could do social media. You could do it where you're just passively marketing, and that's when we're really doing Google My Business, and we're putting pictures up on Instagram, and we're interacting that way. We can also do like paid marketing as well. So we can go into the same sort of thing, into Facebook, into Google Ads, and we can do that paid marketing. But I'm seeing a couple of levels of marketing. And again, the paid marketing might not be ready to come through yet. It might be one of those bottom layers. So hang on, let me point to it for you. See this third one down here? That's like 3 layers back. That you might not be ready to do paid marketing yet, or different styles, but be open to it, be aware of it. There is different types of marketing you can do, and we can look at. Now, the other thing we look at is the type of marketing. When we look at the type of petals, we look at the type of marketing. Now, these are long, elongated petals, which means they're more of the masculine aspect of marketing. So you need to be a little bit more assertive in your marketing. It needs to be simple. The white is simplicity. I go back to that again because it doesn't need to be tough. It's not hard. Marketing is not hard. It needs to be regular. It needs to be active. And part of the masculine aspect of it is really getting out there and doing it. And we look at the masculine sides of it, some of the masculine attributes, and we have male and female in this. We know that, masculine, feminine. But some of the masculine is dominant, brave, instrumental, rational, competitive, independent. So we've got all these aggressive, active, goal-orientated. So you've got all these little elements there that marketing needs to be really, really active in. Now, when we sort of start to go that way, we start to sort of go, although they're that way, we still want them grounded. We still want them attached. And again, this is where we start to really look at it. We want to attach to the heart center. Now, if this flower was a frangipani, they don't have a heart center. But it isn't. It's a daisy, and it has a big heart center. That's a big heart center. That's a big center where the male and the masculine and feminine aspects, or the sex organs of the flower, are together. They're both together. You've probably got the male on the outside and the female on the inside there, but they're together. They're bonded together. Very, very heart-centered. Circular is feminine. Even the whole business is feminine orientated because it's a circular flower, but the marketing has to be more assertive. It needs to be more masculine. And I don't mean you're attracting masculine or the masculinity. I just need you need to be active. You need to be regular. You need to be constant. You need to be putting it out there like that. It's not like a big daisy where they've got just 5 elements. You've got lots of different elements there, and they need to be coming in. And some are going to be bigger, and other areas will be smaller. We see that and I mean, that's natural. Like, we see that in nature. But do we do that? There's some elements there that you might only have to put up a post once a week, and there's others there that you're going to have to really start to hammer it out and create that different aspects of it, different abilities, different ways of looking at it. And it's not about flogging your marketing. It's not about flogging sales and things like that. It's about flogging you. It's about putting you out there. So you can do that in your thoughts on what you're thinking and how you feel. You can put that out there on your beliefs. You can put that out there on other people's, because they're getting an understanding of who you are. But you're getting that lovely authenticity coming through. But it's got to be regular. It's got to be regular. So jump onto even these auto posting sites and create. I know I've done it with mine. I've got 100 different sayings and little write-ups there, and I post them automatically. And then maybe twice a week or once a week I put up a podcast. I market that, and another time I market one of the online courses or something different. So we're starting to get that lovely spread. You're not hounding somebody to buy me, and that's all you see. You actually are starting to go, this is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I think. This is what I believe. Oh, and this is what I've got for sale. This is what I've got. This is one of my offers. So we're starting to get a better, a happier blend of it. But when I'm saying be more assertive, more aggressive in your marketing, I'm not saying promote yourself all the time, as in promote your goods and your services all the time. No, it's about promoting you as an individual. And we can see that because of how big that image is. It is all about you. It is all about people understanding who you are and whether they like you. That's what this style of marketing is all about nowadays. It's different to what it used to be. We're not in our business. We're not selling little packets like this for the cheapest price. That is not who we are. We're almost selling ourselves or our beliefs or our understandings or our experiences and our learnings, and we're putting them forward. It has to be attached. Whatever you say and do has to be attached to that heart center, because the center of the flower is your heart center. If it's not attached to that, then have another look at what you're writing. Have another look at what you're doing. And if you can't feel that in your heart, then that's not something that you should be posting. You should really be posting things that are attached to your heart, because your business is the heart. Your business is the heart of you. This is what people, especially as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, this is what the main thing is. We're not in competition with the big companies. It's a part of selling our beliefs, our experiences, our understandings. It may help you, it may not help you, but this is what we do. And this is our beliefs and our understandings of it. So really, really important. Get it out there in the right manner. Make it simple. Don't go deep. Don't go too woo-woo. Don't go too deep with whatever you do. Just keep it simple as you can, and get that message out there. Okay, the next bit is the heart center. I'll go into that. Now, white, I look at the colors too, because they're our emotions, and I see white for this marketing as simplicity. So white is simple. White is pure, virtual, kindness, purifying, goodness, all those sorts of things. So keep that in mind. That's what you want to be putting out. That's just little simple things, just sort of, how's it going today? This is what I feel. Here's a nice quote, rah, rah, rah. And you're just putting you out there. Now, the next part was, the center side of it. And look, I look at this, it's sort of a yellow gold. I've gone into the color orange, and I sort of see this as couldn't get out, as enthusiasm. Right? I see this color here as enthusiasm. And in your heart, you're so enthused in what you do that you should be able to be doing this marketing without any problems. In your heart center, enthusiasm is a really strong aspect. Now, there's other things: sincere, curiosity, ambition, energetic, movement. There's quite a few different ways that you can look at that color. But for me, what came out was enthusiasm. And why enthusiasm came out so strongly is because when you're attracting somebody or something, you're doing your marketing and you're bringing them towards the heart center, right? So you can imagine if this is a flower. Yeah, it is the flower. You don't need to imagine it. With the bees or what would the bugs that the flowers are attract to pollinate. So you're doing the same. You're attracting clients to you. You're attracting them, and what you're doing is the outside is attracting them and bringing them into the heart. We want to bring them into the center, into your business. How I see this particular center, apart from being feminine, it's very nurturing. It's very, very grounding and warming, which is perfect. So again, when you're putting that marketing out there, make sure it's leading towards nurturing. You're not just saying do this because that's what you're supposed to do. You're saying do this because I felt it has helped. You're attaching the heart center to it. Now the very center here, as they've come in, so you've got your bees and you've got your clients coming in, and they're getting this mixture around here. It's very nurturing, very soft. But then we start to see this very structured inside. Now, I'm not sure if you can see that properly on the show, on the video, but this is very, very organized and very structured inside. So whatever your business is, and I'm pretty sure you do life coaching. I can't remember. I've had an onslaught of podcast guests, and I've sort of got a little bit confused, but I remember the flower needed to be done. If your business doesn't really matter what it is, but it's got to be organized as they come in. It can be fluffy on the outside, which this image is in the center, but it needs to be structured and organized inside. They need to know where they're going and what they're doing. They need to know what their next step is. Even if you don't follow that step through, they need to know it. So you need to have a program. And again, I haven't looked, Amy, at what you do properly. I honestly can't remember, but whatever it is, have a structure to it. So the softness on the outside as they're coming in to the program or to work with you as a business person, it can be soft on the outside. That can be the introduction and bringing them in. But once they come in and they really start to work with you, have some structure there, have some organization there. Don't just play it by a whim. But in the same token, you've got to follow your intuition, okay? So have that structure there. And this is probably how I've done it, is I've created this structure, I've created this program. And I've got all these tools and things to help my client come through the program. However, I still follow my intuition as to what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And if we decide to change. But the reality is we need the program to start with. We need something there that's concrete and organized to start with. If we choose not to stay on it, so be it. That's great. That's fine because you're following your gut. That's cool. But have some sort of a structure there so they can see that they can get from point A to point B, and they can see what tools you're going to use. Now, you don't go into all the details, obviously, because it's a business and that's your IP, but you have it there for them to go through. So that's sort of that side of it. When we look at this, it's that I guess the reality is, and what I really like about it, is the simplicity of it. It does not need to be hard. And if you've got that program set in the center there, whatever you're marketing for on the outside will naturally lead to that center, because that center is actually what those marketing spikes are coming into. So say this little part around here you've organized, and it's a particular, say a thing on how to trust, right? So you might find all these marketing posts are heading towards that area of trust in one part of your program. This might be an area of how to deal with problems. And so you're going to find you've got a few of those coming in, and a few of those marketing tools coming in, posts that reflect on problems, that go to problems. So whatever your program is, put that in the center, make it organized, be flexible, be very flexible, but have it there to help with your marketing as it comes in. I hope that makes sense to you, Amy. That was a little bit different. Hope it all makes sense to you. I'm Susan Jane. I was supposed to put all these banners up too. Look at this. Hang on. There you go. If you want a flower reading about your business, contact Susan at info at intuitivenature.com.au. It's Australian business. So I do these flower readings, and I ask for a one-word goal. So it can be finances, it could be business, it could be money. So it's that one word. It could be relationships, it could be health, it could be direction. But I ask for one word because I don't want to go into I want to go into the details without the knowing, if that makes sense. Because when you don't know, when you're doing a flower reading for somebody you don't know, it is so much easier than doing a flower reading for somebody you do know. So there's only a couple of things I know about Amy, and I believe she's a life coach. I believe she does do speaking because she has been on the podcast, and I'm finding that I'm getting a lot of life coaches on the podcast because like attracts like, and that's who I am. But I do it in one way, and Amy does it in a different way, and the next person will do it in a different way. And we've all got our different ways of doing it. And putting this marketing out there, it will allow you to attract the right type of people to you, to your center, to who you are. And I mean, look, you could have all of the clients in the world. It doesn't mean you're going to be successful with all of them because people resonate differently with some people. And so that's the whole beauty of having all these life coaches out there. You can pick and choose, and you sort of make sure they resonate with you. And that's really, really important. And if Amy's putting out those information, that right information that goes directly to that program, that heart center, she's not going to have any problems at all because she will attract the people that resonate with every single one of those or most of those posts that are coming in there. And if you wanted to, Amy, you could count all those, and I'm not going to, but you could count those, and you can get an understanding of how many times you need to post or what you know, like how many to create and to put forward. So that's what it's all about. That's what the flower reading's all about. You can contact me at info@intuitivenature.com.au. It's an Australian business, which is why it's got the AU at the end. And yeah, that's me. That's the flower readings. And I don't really like doing a lot of flower readings. I know this sounds really strange. I don't like doing a lot. I like teaching you how to do it. I don't want people to be coming back to me all the time like they do with card readings. I want you to learn how to do it. I want you to learn how to trust your gut. I want you to follow your intuition and have a beautiful life. Okay, that's me. Sorry, Amy. I'll take off that ticker. And I didn't even, put the little music on. That's it. I hope you have a great Christmas and a fantastic New Year. Let's keep in contact because I'm sure you'd be loved to have you on the podcast. But, oh, no, I've got to go. I've gone on yours, so you've got to come on mine. Yeah, that's right. I've got to get you on the podcast. Okay, that's the Art of Intuition podcast. So I'm going to say bye for now and have a great Christmas.